Hi everybody, welcome back for section 4, wetland environments. So we're going to look at what are the common types of freshwater wetlands, which human activities threaten the Florida Everglades, and what important functions do wetlands serve. Okay, imagine you're coming home from a long trip only to find that your house is gone and has been replaced by a parking lot. Millions of migrating birds have had similar experiences, but people are beginning to understand the importance of wetlands both to wildlife and to people. A wetland is a land area that covers this, that is covered with a shallow layer of water during some or all of the year. These soggy regions, as you will learn, are important in many ways. Okay. Types of wetlands. Wetlands help control floods and provide habitats for many species. They form in places where water is trapped in low areas or where groundwater seeps to the surface. Wetlands may be as small as a roadside ditch or cover as much as a city. Some wetlands fill up during spring rains only to dry up during long hot summers. Others are covered with water year-round. The three common types of freshwater wetlands are marshes, swamps, and bogs. As shown in Figure 17, these wetlands are quite diverse. So this is Figure 17 here. Okay. Marshes are usually grassy areas covered by shallow water or a stream. They teem with cattails and other tall grass-like plants. Swamps look more like flooded forest with trees and shrubs sprouting from the water. Many swamps are located in warm, humid climates where trees grow quickly. Bogs are more common in the cooler northern areas. They often form in depressions left by melting ice sheets thousands of years ago. The water in bogs tend to be acidic and mosses thrive in these conditions. Wetlands along coast usually contain both fresh and salt water. Coastal wetlands include salt marshes and mangrove forest. Salt marshes are found along both coasts of the United States. Tall, strong grasses grow in rich, muddy bottoms of salt marshes. Mangrove forests are found along the southeastern coast of the United States. In these forests, the mangrove trees are short and have thick, tangled roots. Can you name the three types of freshwater wetlands? So we have marshes, swamps, and bogs. Okay? So swamps look like flooded forest. Curtains of Spanish moss hang from cypress trees in this Louisiana swamp. Bogs. Mosses thrive in the acidic water in bogs. Colorful flowers dot a bed of velvet moss in this bog in Montana. Okay, so let's talk about Florida Everglades. You can see here that this is the Florida Everglades over here. Okay, if you ever walk down a path in Florida Everglades National Park, you would feel the ground squish under your feet. Water is the key to the Everglades, a unique region of wetlands. A shallow stream of water moves slowly over the gently sloping lands of Lake Okeechobee, south to Florida Bay. Tall, sharp-edged blades of sawgrass grow in the water. The thick growth of sawgrass give this region its Native American name, Paheoki, which means river grass. Low-lying islands are scattered throughout the sawgrass marshes. Everglades wildlife. In the Everglades, fishes and snakes gobble up tiny organisms in the warm, muddy water. Wading birds in bright colors, pink flamingos, white egrets, and purple gallinules stand on skinny legs in the water. A raccoon digs for alligator eggs, unaware of an alligator lying low in the water nearby. The Everglades provide habitats for many rare and endangered species. The endangered Florida panther lives in the wildest parts of the Everglades. Many species of birds such as wild stork and the Rosetta spoonbill depend on the Everglades as nesting areas. The manatee or sea cow lives in the mangrove forest along the coast. Because manatees swim slowly, they are easily injured by the propellers of power boats. They have become an endangered species as a result of increased boating. Threats to the Everglades. The Everglades are a fragile environment. Nearby, farming has introduced new chemicals into the slow-moving waters of the marsh, upsetting the balance of nutrients. Outside the protected limits of the national park, developers have filled the areas of wetlands to build homes and roads. New organisms brought into the area accidentally or for pest control compete with other organisms for space and food. Agricultural development and the introduction of new species are some human activities that threaten the Florida Everglades. Water that once flowed into the Everglades from Lake Okeechobee has been directed for farming and household use. New canals and levees built to provide drinking water and to control flooding have changed the flow of water into and out of the Everglades. Some areas are drying up while others are flooded. Preserving the Everglades. Scientists, concerned citizens, and governmental officials have been trying for many years to develop a plan to preserve the Everglades and save its endangered wildlife. One plan involves building an elaborate system of pipes and canals to refill drained areas with fresh water. The National Park Service, the state of Florida, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are working together to manage the supply of water to areas around and within the Everglades. The importance of wetlands. If you've ever enjoyed tart cranberry sauce or tasty wild rice, you've eaten plants that grow in wetlands. The layer of water covering a wetland can range from several centimeters to a few meters deep. Dead leaves and other plants and animal materials serve as natural fertilizers. They add nitrogen, phosphates, and other nutrients to the water soil. Importance to wildlife. Because of their sheltered waters and rich supply of nutrients, wetlands provide habitats for many living things. Recall that many plants and animals live in or near a pond: reeds, frogs, snails, dragonflies, turtles. Some of these organisms live in fresh water. Wetlands year-round. Insects dart about, finding food and shelter among wetland plants. Bird nest in and around the wetlands, feeding on the plants and darting insects. In addition, some larger animals such as the manatees live in the wetlands year-round. Other animals spend only part of their lives in the wetlands. Have you ever seen or heard a flock of geese flying overhead? The geese may be flying south to make a temporary home in a wetland. As winter approaches, geese, ducks, and other waterfowl travel from Alaska and Canada to warmer climates. They pass millions of small shallow marshes along the routes. The birds stop at these marshes to rest and feed. The birds then make their way to the large southern marshes where they can spend the winter. Okay, this is a manatee. Manatees depend on rich wetland habitats for food and breeding sites. Why are they important to people? Many people, including farmers and builders, once thought that wetlands were worthless. They assumed that wetland areas could not be used unless they were drained and filled in. Thousands of square kilometers of wetlands were developed for farms, homes, and businesses. Beginning in the 1970s, however, the government passed laws to protect wetland habitats. What prompted these laws? Scientific studies showed that wetlands served important functions for people as well as for wildlife. For example, as water moves slowly throughout a wetland, some waste materials settle out. Other waste may be absorbed by plants, such as those shown in Figure 20. The thick network of plants' roots also trap silt and mud. In this way, wetlands act as natural water filters. They also help control floods by absorbing extra runoffs from heavy rains. Wetlands are like giant sponges storing water until it gradually drains or evaporates. When wetlands are destroyed, the floodwaters are not absorbed. Instead, the water runs off the land quickly, worsening the flood problem. So let's look at Figure 20. Some wetlands, such as the pickernickel weed, shown here, filter pollutants from the water, so it is very helpful. So what prompted the wetland protection laws? It's because the scientific studies showed how important the wetland was for wildlife and for people. So it absorbs pollutants and also helps to control the floods. Okay, so today your homework is section 4 assessment, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.